So I'm going to call this episode 1, the beginning. I think it's important to explain how I got in the Army, the starting point of it all. Plus, it kind of gives you an insight to my character. And I got to admit, because I've been told this all my life, man, you are a character. Well, I know some of us are, some of us aren't. So we need to go back to 1970 and January, February, March, April. It's around April. And I had been living in St. Louis. I was from Poplar Bluff, Missouri. Some people call it Missouri. It's Missouri. Poplar Bluff. So anyway, on my 18th birthday, bam, man, I left home and I cut a trail for St. Louis. And I was 18, October 20th of 1969. So anyway, I went to St. Louis, got a place to live, got a job, and it wasn't much of a job. I was really not going very far, very fast. I worked at Hunter Engineering. They built front-end alignment equipment, and I was a D-slagger. In other words, as the welders weld up the steel parts, the weld joint leaves a crusty slag on there, and it has to be knocked off. And I had a tool. I know you don't need all this description, but I just feel the need to tell you. I had this air tool and had a bunch of little needles in it, and it bust up the slag and knock it off. So imagine that, that's what I'm doing 8 hours a day. And I'm going nowhere fast. And I know that. But I'm kind of happy because I'm out on my own, and I'm getting a paycheck, and most importantly, in 1970, I'm growing my hair long, because I come from as a childhood, like in high school and stuff. Well, my parents would never let me have long hair. And of course, back then, I guarantee you didn't have any mustache or anything. And those things I wanted, because I grew up in the music revolution of the Beatles and all that, and I wanted long hair, and I wanted it all. But anyway, so I'm happy, but I'm not happy because I know I'm going nowhere. And I don't know why, but on a Friday, for some reason, I wasn't working. I was drinking beer with a buddy, Dennis Deti. I don't know where we got the beer. I don't know why I wasn't working, but him and I were sucking suds. And I guess we got to talking about the draft, because we were both, a prime material for the draft. And a lot of people today don't know what the draft really was. But the draft, the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, they could draft 18-year-olds into the service. You didn't volunteer. They just sent you a letter and said, congratulations, you are now pop and report here on this day. And I figured I was going to get drafted, and so did Dennis. And we got to drinking that beer and feeling pretty heroic. And we decided we'd go down to the recruiting station and just join and get it over with. And that's what we did. We go in there, and the sergeant could obviously tell that we were not ourselves. And he said, hey, fellas, love to sign you up, but I can't do that in the condition you're in. So why don't you all go home, sober up, come back Monday morning, and we can do business. Well, I'm a smart ass. I'm just a wise guy. That's just all there is to it. I always have been and always will be. And so, I shut my mouth up. Well, if I leave here, I'm not coming back on Monday. And he says, well, hey, that's no problem, because we've got, they call them billets. We have a billet. That's, we have a building. We have a billet that we can put you up in. We'll give you a comb and a toothbrush and soap and a shaver, and we'll feed you while you're here. And then come Monday morning, we'll swear you in. And again, I'm a wise ass. I go, okay. Now, Dennis, he was smarter than me. He said, yeah, see y'all later. And he left. But I stayed. So come that Monday morning, I'm in the Army now, boss. And they swore me in, put me on a bus, and sent me to Fort Leonard Wood. A lot of people took their basic at Fort Leonard Wood, basic training, your first 8 weeks, boot camp. So that's where I went. Now, the first 3 days of being at Fort Leonard Wood, you're not assigned to a company. You're in what they call the reception area. I mean, they did have companies, A company, B company, C company, but you're a receptee. You're not a private. You're nobody. You're lower than low. And you're just basically, the first thing they do, whack, they cut your hair off. Whack, cut your mustache off. And I go, man. And I look like a convict. That's one of the reasons why I don't go for the bald-headed look right now, because, man, I would really, if you think I look hard now, God, I look hard with no hair. Anyway, so kind of went through that, and you get your uniforms, you get your boots, you get your hat, your head cover, but you do a lot of testing, because they're giving you kind of like, not really IQ tests, but intelligent tests to see just how stupid you are. And of course, aptitude tests, things like that. They're also giving you the AFQT, the American, is it? No, American? No, it's Armed Forces. Hey, forgive me. I'm 74 years old. I'm a little scattered. American Forces Qualification Test, AFQT, because I wanted to be a helicopter pilot. And you had to score at least 80 on the AFQT to have your shot at being a pilot. Anything under 80, you ain't going to qualify. Well, I figured, I got that in the bag. And so anyway, we did all the testing and stuff. But I kind of screwed up early on as far as my mouth wrote a check my ass couldn't cash. In other words, it's during the day and we're kind of in between things and we're all over in the barracks not doing nothing. So I got the boys together, to play some cards. A little poker never hurt anyone. And we're in there playing cards, and this little red-headed corporal, this short dude, comes in there and just starts ripping us up for doing what we're doing. Again, because I'm a character and I don't know when to shut the fuck up, I just stepped up and started ripping him one. Well, to my surprise, he just shut up and left. So after he's gone, I'm telling all the guys, hey, see, this is how you take care of that. You just... But lo and behold, the little red-headed corporal came back with 2 MPs, military police. Well, they hauled my ass out of there and took me over to the company commander's office. And needless to say, he did not have any kind words for me. And he said, take him out back. I didn't know what they were going to do. They take me out behind the mess hall. And what they got out behind the mess hall is they got these, galvanized 55-gallon trash cans. And they're full of food. As the troops finish eating their meal, they walk past these trash cans and scrape off their leftovers. But being the military and all, you have been instructed as to what leftovers go into what container. So the first container, you will put your potatoes and salad. The next one, you will put your, let's just say, peas and carrots, etc., etc. So anyway, they take me out behind the mess hall, and they bring out some pretty good sized sheets of brown craft paper and lay it down on the ground. And the corporal is instructing me, you will take this trash can full of potatoes and salad, and you will separate the potatoes from the salad. So you'll take the potatoes out and put them on the brown craft paper, and you will take out the salad, and you will put it over here on this one. And when you get those filled up, you'll fold them up like a rat flag, and we'll bring you some more paper. And you keep doing that until you're done, So I stood out there for a couple hours separating potatoes and salad and what have you. And then I realized, okay, time to pull your head out of your ass, Steve, and apologize. So I sent word via, I don't know, whoever was there, that I wanted to see the company commander. And he saw me. I went in, stood at attention, saluted him, and I began my apology. I told him, hey, I've learned my lesson. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. This is a valuable lesson. This is going to follow me the rest of my life. And look, hey, I'm 74 years old, and I'm talking about something that happened to me when I was 18. And I still remember it very well. And he took me serious, and he said, okay, fine. Now go back and separate some more potatoes and salad. And we'll call you when we think you're done. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. May I have another? And so anyway, I got off of that, and I did not screw up the rest of my time in basic training. As a matter of fact, I redirected my mouth and advanced myself. And here's how. So I get over, they assigned me to a company. I don't remember what company it was. I could look in I still have my, this is, kind of like your yearbook, your graduation book. I could look in there and see just what the hell company I was in. 2nd Training Brigade. Oh, Company D. I was in Company D. And there's my drill sergeants. Oh, I know, they don't call them drill sergeants anymore. They call them drill instructors. Ooh, Castle, man, he was tough. None of these guys, Schunzel. This guy, Schunzel, he was crazy. I think he had been to Vietnam. Ooh. Sappho, this guy right here. I hope that gets in the picture. Sergeant Sappho. So we're in getting our bed linen, sheets, blanket, pillows and stuff. And you're at a place called the quartermaster, and they issue all this stuff to you. So the whole company's there, and you're going down the line, you're getting your stuff, and it just so happens at the point where I'm getting my stuff given to me, here is Sergeant Sappho standing there watching the thing, making sure she's doing this and that. And some CQ runner or whatever comes down there and says, Sergeant Sappho, Captain, I don't remember his name, Durana or something, Captain Darren, he's the company commander. He wants to see you right now. Right now, he wants you in the office. And Sappho says, I can't go up there right now. I got a whole company of trainees and, they're getting their stuff. And as soon as I get them all done and get them back up to the billets, to the barracks, I'll be there. So tell him that. And I don't know how to keep my mouth shut sometimes, but sometimes it's a good thing. So I say to him, Sergeant Sappho, Sergeant, I can take over from here. I can form these guys up when everybody's got their bed linen. So you can go on up and see the company commander, which is also known as the CO. You can go see the CO right now. I'll take over. And, he's looking at me like, what? And I go, no, seriously, I can do this. And he goes, how? What makes you think you know how to do this? And I go, well, Sergeant, I spent 2 years in Missouri Military Academy. I was in charge of the 3rd platoon. I can do it. And so he goes, all right. And he left. And he left me in charge. I mean, before he left, all right, there's it. Hell's going to be in charge. So anyway, I did. And I did the whole thing. And I got everybody back up to the billets. And got everybody putting their sheets on their beds. And Sappho came over and looked at that. And he said, damn. He said, hey, how would you like to be an acting sergeant? Are you kidding me? Going from recruit to acting sergeant in one day? Yeah. And what they do is they promote you. You don't get paid, but you get the rank. And they give you this armband. And it goes on your arm, like such. And he put me in charge of the 3rd platoon. Yeah, Sergeant Hill, 3rd platoon. So there you go. That time, me shooting my mouth off got me somewhere. And I learned, which I had already learned, this is how you advance. And I did kind of well. Because when I ended up over in Vietnam, which I'm going to tell this story of how I got the job as the colonel's crew chief. So I will explain all that, but we got to take it one step at a time. So there's this basic. Anyway, I finished up basic. It was a great time. The neat thing about being a sergeant in basic training is, number one, you get your own room. You're not in the barracks with all the other schmoes. You're the honcho. You don't have to pull KP. That's kitchen police. You don't have to do fire watch at night, which is like guard duty. You don't CQ. You don't do any of that bullshit. You're in charge. You're telling them, you're on KP. Shut up. You're CQ tonight. It was great. And anyway, so that was kind of my basic. And you do basic training. I did want to tell the story about the quick kill range. I mean, there's a lot of things you learn in basic because you're doing physical training so that you can, endure. You learn how to use your weapons, and you learn how to shoot. You better be able to shoot, identify targets, the whole 9 yards. But one of the things they did, we had this thing called quick kill. And I doubt they do this anymore, and this is going to sound like, oh, baloney, nobody could do that. But yeah, we all did this. What you had a BB gun, a rifle, a little BB gun, like a daisy. So you stand here, cock your BB gun, and you got a guy standing in front of you to your left. And he's got a little slug, kind of about the size of a dime. Seriously, I'm not making this up. And he takes the dime and he tosses it up in the air. Now, it's not real high, but you know, he tosses it up, and what you have to do is bam. And actually, the way I remember it is your BB gun's not cocked. He tosses the dime or the slug, bam. But you're not aiming. You're just point and shoot, point and shoot. Because a lot of people don't realize if you take your finger and you point, if you could actually see the trajectory at the target, you're on target. I mean, you just learn to do it. And you know, everybody thought, oh, I can't do that. But they did. And they were amazed. And it's a real confidence builder because, man, you can really do something that you really didn't think you could do. So anyway, that's kind of basic training. And, you know, I'm going to look really quick because I'm going to see if I can find that in here. And I'll bet I can. I'm looking for the quick kill. There it is. Okay, I found it. Now, I'm going to show you this, but I'm looking at it, and I gotta admit, the slug that the guy threw up in the air was not as small as a dime. I guess the reason why I remember it as being as small as a dime is because there's a caption here that says, I could actually hit a dime with a BB after a while. So, you know, my brain said, it was only as big as a dime. Actually, it's about as big as a coffee cup saucer. So but here, let me show you. See if you can see those. So I'm not making it up. I mean, we really did it. The only thing I got wrong was the size of the slug that was thrown up in the air. Okay, so from here, when you finish up basic training, you're going to go to AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training. And the thing is, remember what I was telling you about in the first 3 days of basic. When you're there, they have you doing a lot of tests and things. And I talked about the AFQT, and like I said, I wanted to be a pilot. But they came back and they told me, well, gee, you didn't quite score high enough on that AFQT. So we're going to send you off to do something else. And that's, and I'll tell you about it in my next little episode of AIT, because after I graduated from basic training, they put everybody on different buses and sent them off to the forts that they were going to go to for their advanced training. And they sent me to Fort Rucker, Alabama. So I rode a bus all the way from Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri to Fort Rucker, Alabama. I'd never been to Alabama. That was something. And I'll tell you about it in the next episode.